For my senior learner project, I studied an introduction to Nikola Tesla, and I built myself a miniature Tesla coil. I chose this topic because I really wanted to build something cool involving electronics. I learned that Nikola Tesla was an inventor famous for his participation in the race to invent the first light bulb and his invention of AC current. But I think the coolest thing is all the information that I learned about electronics, because now I can make more cool things.
For my project, I wrote and illustrated a graphic novel. I followed the steps of coming up with characters, a storyline, and translating them into illustrations in a comic. I also had the poet and author Megan Chasky as my mentor, and I couldn't have come through with my story without her help. I'm glad I chose to do this for my senior learner project because I both had fun working on it and learned a lot in the process.
My senior learner project was on the use and practice of hypnosis. I chose hypnosis because I love the idea of having control over someone's brain. Hypnosis is a process in which you are put in a trance-like state where you are deeply relaxed and more focused on what you are hearing. Hypnosis can help with phobias and addictions. Hypnosis was discovered in 1774 by a doctor called Anton Mesmer. It was originally called animal magnetism. I learned that the mind is very complicated and hypnosis is a great tool to help someone or to hurt them.
My name is Tola, and this year for my senior learner project, I studied the eye. I got this idea after visiting my eye doctor. I studied the anatomy of the eye and found that you actually see things upside down, but the cornea and lens flip it right side up. All of the functions of the eye connect to the occipital lobe, which is located in the brain. I'm glad I chose this topic because it was a fun educational experience, and I wanted to pick something to study that I was interested in pursuing further in the future.
For my senior learning project, I studied radio and radio waves. I've been curious about this area for some time. I learned how sound can be encoded into a wave and how the number of radio stations given is determined by how fast the wave is cycling. I learned about the many rules and regulations put in place, many of them for good reason, and how I could build my own radio. This project taught me a lot about electronics, and I really enjoyed it.
Hi, my name is Kodiak, and for my senior learner project, I decided to do painting. One of my inspirations for this topic is an Apache artist named Douglas Miles. For my project, I used acrylic paint, a number 2 pencil, and a black marker. I began by sketching, then painting and outlining with a black paint marker. I decided to use a grid because I wanted to try something new, and I really liked how the outcome of my final piece. And I decided to blend both of my styles together for this project, and I really enjoyed the result.
For my senior learner project, I studied interior design. In interior design, there are different styles, and I decided to focus on 5 different styles: modern, industrial, modern farmhouse, rustic, and minimalist designs. I designed rooms based on each of these styles on an app called Room Planner. Modern homes are very geometric and stylish. Industrial is lived in and modern. Modern farmhouse is rustic and cozy. Rustic is worn out and natural. Minimalist is open and clean. My project was fun and I enjoyed designing rooms.
My project, I made a more humane and effective mousetrap. This mousetrap uses the mouse's weight to activate the system. Although it's going to be using a high amount of voltage, it is almost fully silent. I did this by taking a boost converter, and in the future I'll use more than one boost converter for a definite kill that is instant and painless. I chose this project because I'm interested in electricity and how live subjects react to it.
For my senior learners project, I studied and researched Mars exploration rover development. I chose this topic because I have a career interest in bioengineering and astronomy. I started with researching space in general and other planets for a better understanding of Mars. Understanding Mars was very important so I could have a better idea of why we have such interest in it and why we have rovers. Then I researched our past 5 rovers' anatomies and mission statements and compared them to the recent ones. I'm glad I chose this research topic. Even though it was a challenge, I ended up learning a lot.
For my senior learner project, I studied the history of inquisitions and torture. Throughout history, torture has been used to gather information or punish individuals. The Inquisition was a powerful office established by the Catholic Church beginning in the 11th century. The purpose of these heinous and cruel acts of violence involved in torture to assert power and control. And there's no way around it. Torture is wrong, even if the victim is a criminal.
For my senior learners project, I chose to study architecture. I was really inspired by the unique design style of Zaha Hadid. The piece of hers that I liked the most was the Haydar Alleyway Center, which she made in 2007. I started getting inspired after seeing her work, and I came up with a building plan and design. I created my building out of balsa wood, paper, and plaster. At the end, I decided to try to make a blueprint for my model. The project was incredibly interesting, creating, and at times complicated.